what the city is talking about. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
We stand for the rights of linguistic minorities, and that means les francophones à l'extérieur du Québec and anglophones inside of Quebec. We stand for reconciliation. We stand against those who think they can exploit the vulnerable. We stand against hate and division. We stand with workers and the middle class. We stand with Canadians. We stand up for Canada.
Wow. And there's a little cough at the end. Wow. That's Justin Trudeau last night at the Liberal Christmas party, which would be, I think, the last time we hear from Justin Trudeau. It would seem in a while. All other engagements have been canceled. James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette's on the line. So, Jim, as I said the other day, certainly doesn't sound like a guy who's ready to hang it up, does it?
Well, I don't often cite my late great mother on this show, but when I was a little guy, and I would be talking, and at the end of it, I would cough, and my mother would say, "See, God made you cough because you're
lying." Oh, okay.
Okay,
I got it.
And the thing is, I'm listening to this wall to wall. He's screaming his greatest hits, most of which are demonstrably false. Go ask gun control advocates what a great friend to gun control Justin Trudeau has been. Go ask Quebec Anglophone what a great friend Justin Trudeau has been to their linguistic rights, and not just honest to God, it's you have to look very far. I mean, he may have made history as being the prime minister in Canadian history who absolutely went out of his way to dilute, strip away, and quite frankly erase Anglophone linguistic rights, which are part of being in Canada, in Quebec. And honestly, once he's gone, once he has been drop-kicked off the stage, finally, and everyone will heave a great big sigh of relief, it's going to be very interesting to see who in the Liberal Party will dare turn around and undo this cynical ring-kissing that he was doing for Francois Legault in perhaps the idea of holding on to a few extra seats in Quebec. But yeah, you just listen to him screaming, and you have to ask yourself, is he yelling that loud to convince himself he's still there, that he still has a chance? What I noticed this morning, I laughed out loud. I don't know if you saw it, you probably did. Serge Chaplot, a cartoonist over at the Montreal, over at La Presse, essentially put his finger on it. He depicted Mr. Trudeau standing on thin air by the side of a cliff, along with Wile E. Coyote, and Trudeau's legend of Trudeau's comment was, "Just watch me." And Mr. Coyote is tapping him on the leg and pointing down, saying, "You're standing over empty air," which I think sums up his situation very well. When I emailed you guys, when I saw last night he has canceled the end of year interviews, he's up to something. Will he fulfill my scenario and decide on his birthday? Maybe he'll can something, give it to CBC or whatever, and they'll air it on his birthday, and it'll be toodaloo. And by the time that airs and people are looking for reaction and comment, he'll be, at the Aga Khan's private island. I don't know, but clearly something is up. This talk is one thing, Aaron. However, the actions suggest this is not a guy who is going to be leading the Liberals in the next election. This is a guy who's trying to leave with the least amount of opprobrium thrown on him, although, frankly, he will deserve every single molecule of that once he gets out of Canada's political face.
But, Jim, how do you really feel?
Really now.
Okay, look.
I keep telling you, I have never seen this before. I have never seen this kind of cynical. Here's the great feminist. And you say out loud the way he treated, never mind, she could have been the biggest shrike going. The way he treated Chrystia Freeland on Friday, like some 1965 boss talking to his stenographer. Are you kidding me? Who the hell does this guy think he is? And of course, online he's got his fanatics saying, the country's going to go to hell. No, it's not. It's high time this guy was gone. And as far as I'm concerned, it can't happen soon enough.
You know, with respect to that, and I've heard this whole Chrystia Freeland feminist situation was talked about again today, and I wondered to myself, I think back to when Marc Garneau left, when David Lametti left. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, and I remember talking to Marc Garneau and asking him, and he kind of took the high road, right? I'm not going to get into the details. I don't want to talk about it. It's over. We've moved on. I wonder if this is his MO. You know, this idea of I'm going to get rid of someone. I'm not going to sit face to face and explain my decision. I'm going to either call him up, God knows, maybe send him a text. Maybe this is just how he does things, which is pretty shameful.
Yep. If you get in his face, you're gone. It's as simple as that. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. Oh, it's great to talk about Donald Trump now, but I would say that up until maybe the last 73 hours, Justin Trudeau's grip on the federal Liberal Party has been every bit as asphyxiating and suffocating as that of Donald Trump on the Republican Party. And maybe, who knows, by the end of the week, the Liberal Party is going to get a new lease on life. God knows Canada needs a new federal Liberal Party, but we'll just have to wait and see. But the idea, and maybe this all for the best as well, Aaron, that every scale on this dragon skin of lies that this guy has been wearing for since he got elected, this idea that, and experience, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, experience has taught me when a guy runs around having to tell you he's a feminist, the last thing on God's green earth is that he's a feminist, okay? It's all smoke and mirrors. And this is something Justin Trudeau has done. He is a performative, preening little attention seeker from the get-go. And I think he's only now realizing that he's out of tricks. And worse comes to worse. He may have the usual groupies, but most Canadians just want to move on with this guy.
You know, I'm going to have Mark Miller on just after 5:30. You talk about groupies. Mark Miller and Justin Trudeau have been friends, I think, forever. They went to school together. He was at his wedding. He's sticking by him. There are a couple I've heard that are obviously standing by him. Not too many. I think more of them are, I don't know what the number is today. We've been talking about 40 or 50 or even 60 people within the caucus who think you should go. How do you, as someone watching what's going on right now, and I thought Anthony Housefather had a telling line in our interview yesterday, which is, you know what? Forget about the caucus. Look at Canadians, right? Look at those people who say they could not vote for him. They've had enough of him, whatever. How do you stand by someone like that through something like this?
All I can tell you is, I've never met Mark Miller. He has proven himself to be, given the circumstances, doing the best with a very bullet-riddled portfolio of immigration. He is, and I've referred to him as that in the past, he really seems like a stand-up guy. He seems extremely loyal. And I sincerely hope that Mark Miller's loyalty is better rewarded by Justin Trudeau than that of Chrystia Freeland.
Fair enough. I'll ask you one last thing, and then I'll move on. And I know no one can put their, sort of try to figure out what's in Justin Trudeau's head right now. This idea of canceling any future engagements from here until we don't know when. What does that signify to you? Do you think, if you had to guess, I asked you this yesterday, is this a sign that he's contemplating, or is this a sign he's given up?
He's putting snacks and soft drinks in the escape pod. Okay, and it's going to happen. I don't know when. It's going to happen probably before his birthday, which happens to be Christmas. But yeah, we're going to see stuff happening, and we're going to see it happening sooner rather than later. But it's on, Aaron. This is not a matter of, he pulled it out of the fire. How did Trudeau do it again? He ain't doing it again. There's no one left.
Jim, I want to get to the question I asked earlier today. This concerns a story that's actually been around for a while, but I know there was a big meeting within the city the other day. Random police checks, random traffic stops, right? So the Superior Court in Quebec says, no, they're not legal. They're off the books. The province comes up. Simon Jolin Barrette says, you've made a mistake. We're going to appeal to the Supreme Court of Canada. Yep. And I said today, you look at the numbers, and I know these were brought up in that city meeting the other day. I had Phony Emmy on this as well. It's clear that too many of these have something to do with racial profiling. And by virtue of that alone, can we not agree that it's time to stop random police traffic stops?
I guess we can, but on the other hand, the arguments that police give about the advantages of these police stops, you and I have discussed this in the past, I'm sure the arguments in front of the Supreme Court will be given the way lawlessness and crime has spread and become more frequent in Montreal, that extraordinary power that allows them to stop randomly is absolutely essential. Here's the thing, though, as well, though. With cops have all kinds of extraordinary powers, Aaron. Quite literally, the power of life and death over an ordinary citizen. Any one of those could be used for racial profiling. So I'm not entirely sure that even if we turn around and pat ourselves on the back and say, you know what, no more random spot checks, it's going to stop. I think if you're a racist, if you're a bigot, it doesn't matter what uniform you're wearing, you're going to be a racist and a bigot. And I think the issue is making sure we have as few of them as possible on the force. But honestly, it would be very difficult, I think, for me to argue against a complete ban on random checks, especially when we talk about, when we see more and more people being charged, not only with your general criminal code offense, but also with perhaps an act of terror. Sometimes you need that extraordinary power. It's not an easy answer. But then again, you're talking to a middle-class white guy. So maybe I'm not the best guy to be talking to about this.
Fair enough. Well said. All right, Jim, thank you. I appreciate it.
Demain.